Today's lesson is looking at the exterior angle of a triangle. Last time we were looking at the internal angles of a triangle, and this was the rule that the internal angles of the triangle add up to 180 degrees. And we know this to be true because when we did our paper triangles, we ripped off the corners and those angles could make the angles of a straight line. So our question is simple: work out what x is. So if they all add up to 180, x plus 125 plus 45 degrees equals x is equal to plus 170 degrees must equal 180. So x must be 180, take away 170 equals 10 degrees. Okay, so that was last lesson. Today's lesson we're going to look at exterior angles. Now exterior angles are a bit of a strange one really, is that we're looking at the angles on the outside. So we have our interior angle here, which is 35, our interior angle here, which is 75. The one we want to work out is x, which is on the outside of the triangle. So there's a missing interior angle here. Don't know why that is. Now, with all exterior angles, there's also another exterior angle on the other side. But because that's vertically opposite, this is equal to x as well, and this is equal to the angle we don't know. So the rule is, so how can we work this out? An easy way is to use our internal rule. So we can work out what the question mark is. So 180 must be equal to the question mark plus 35 degrees plus 75 degrees. So 180 is equal to the unknown angle plus 110, meaning that question mark must be 70 degrees. So if that's now 70 degrees, we can work out x. So the straight line rule tells us that x plus 70 degrees must be equal to 180. So x is equal to 180, take away 70, which is 110 degrees. So x is 110 degrees. But hang on, I think I've seen that 110 before. And we did. When we added the two other angles together, we ended up with 110. So we already knew the answer. Actually, when you look at the question, it makes a lot of sense. The whole triangle is equal to 180, but also this straight line is equal to 180. And the triangle and the straight line share the 70 degrees. So it makes sense that, I get to highlight it, it makes sense that this angle must equal both of those if that angle plus the two angles equals 180 and that plus that equals 180 as well. And so the new rule that we've come up with is the exterior angle of a triangle equals the sum of the interior opposite sides. So what that means is we can get rid of a lot of that calculation, and simply all we can say with this one is we've got our opposite sides here, we've got our exterior angle is that x is equal to 35 degrees plus 75 degrees, which is equal to 110 degrees. And the reason is exterior angle of a triangle. And that's the rule. Because of that straight line and triangle combination, means triangles have this rule attached to them. So to sort of explain the rule, I've got another one of those GeoGebra applets that we can take a look at. Okay, I'll just zoom that in. And this link will be available for you to have a look at in the lesson as well. And it's really simple. We've got our exterior angle. Doesn't matter what I do to change it. We've got our two opposite interior angles. If we slide them across, you can see that they fit perfectly into the exterior angle. It doesn't matter how I change them, we always end up with that situation. So if I change them to this, we can have both of them slot together and they equal that. So you're welcome to have a play around that, but that's illustrating the example. So now that we know the rule, let's have a look at how this affects our questions. So here we've got a triangle. It's got some exterior angles. I've got some unknowns that I need to work out. How do I go about that? So the key thing with all these questions is that we've got straight lines, so that adds up to 180. And obviously these two add up to 180 as well. So for this exterior angle at 120, which are the two opposites? We've got two opposites on this side. So it means that 120 must equal x plus 120, x plus 2x, meaning that 3x, or 3 lots of x, is equal to 120. So x must be equal to 120 divided by 3, meaning, so x must be equal to 40. So now that we know that that's 40 degrees, we should be able to use the rule, and we know that y must be equal to 40 degrees plus 60 degrees, which gives us 100 degrees. And the other thing as well, 2x there, if we know 1x is 40, then it's 2 times 40, which gives us 80. And then we should add up to 180 within the triangle, which it does. And also on the straight line, which 80 plus 100 is equal to 180 as well. So there are our answers. So this is kind of a summary of all the things that we've talked about with triangles, talking about the internal angles, quadrilaterals, isosceles triangles, exterior angles. There is a worksheet for you to complete on the lesson page. So you need to close this down, take a look at that, and complete that, please.